Welcome into a balmy and overcast South Florida at Sun Life Stadium. Week 2 of the all-time rosters franchise, Houston battles Miami. It should be a good one today, and many fans are intrigued about just how good the greatest Texans in history will fare in the all-time rosters franchise. They battle the all-time Miami Dolphins today. Lamar Miller returns to the 24-yard line. Their leader at the quarterback position, none other than three-time Pro Bowler Deshaun Watson, who is currently the third highest-rated passer in NFL history, and he showed his prowess in the game against Indy last week, throwing for 220 yards and a touchdown. It was a narrow 20-13 loss, but Watson certainly showed how good this offense can be with him at the controls. 1st and 10, opening play of the game, and here's Watson on a 5-step drop. He looks and he'll run. First scramble of the day for one of the great dual threats of his era, Deshaun Watson, taken down by Anderson. The one Hall of Famer on this roster on the left side, Andre Johnson, joining DeAndre Hopkins at receiver. Owen Daniels is the tight end, and to round out the skill starters for Houston is Vonta Leach at fullback and Arian Foster at the running back position. 2nd and 7. Leach and the block, and Foster buried by Hall of Fame linebacker Zach Thomas. He's one of the 3 members enshrined in Canton on this Miami defense. Nick Buonacani and Jason Taylor are the others. Jake Scott, Dick Anderson, and Xavier Howard round out the players to watch for the very talented Miami defense. Dolphins line up in a nickel package on a critical 3rd down for Houston. The Texans were 44% against the Colts on 3rd down last week. Watson's going to run again and is caught and dropped by Bill Stanfield.
3-yard loss on the play.
Bill Stanfield, the 5-time Pro Bowler out of Georgia, in for the sack, and Houston goes 3 and out. Shane Leckler, acquired by the Texans in 2013, drives it to Scott, and he is buried at the 38-yard line. That's Zach Cunningham with the stop. Arguably the most talented quarterback in the history of the game takes the field for Miami. That's Dan Marino, 148 yards and 2 touchdowns in a drubbing against New England last week here at Sun Life Stadium. He'll have a chance to keep it going against the all-time Texans. 1st and 10. Handoff inside out of the gut to Williams, who gains about 3 on a dance at the 41-yard line. J.J. Watt makes the stop. The Miami offense, arguably the fastest set of receivers in the league, Tyreek Hill and Paul Warfield. Keith Jackson's the tight end with Ricky Williams and 2-time Super Bowl champion Larry Zonka, the Hall of Famer in the backfield for Miami. 2nd down and 7 after the short run from Williams. He'll flank the quarterback here. Marino's pass is intercepted. First pick of the year from Dan Marino, and Danielle Manning brings it back all the way for Houston touchdown. Not too often Marino makes that type of mistake, as Danielle Manning, with just 1 career NFL interception, takes it back for the score on his first pick of the year. 5:26 on the first quarter clock. It's 7-0 Houston. Well, he wasn't going to go the whole year without an interception. Hard to believe in the first play of the game it's taken back for a score. Scott will bring it out from 5 yards deep to the 15. It is buried by Benardrick McKinney at the 22. Well, many fans were wondering how Houston would compete this year. They were an expansion franchise brought into the NFL in 2002. Miami's been around since 1966. Marino's pass nearly picked off again. Incomplete. Miami reigns supreme in the AFC East right now. Buffalo and New York are 1-1. And after New England's drubbing against San Diego 41-25, the Patriots are bringing up the rear at 0-2 this season. Complete Week 2 highlights available this weekend of the all-time rosters franchise, along with the injury report on Monday. Marino with a deep drop on 2nd down. He guns it deep, and there's Warfield down the left sideline, and he's got it, but is out of bounds. Houston, their defense led by Mario Williams, J.J. Watt, a star pass rusher as well, D'Amico Ryans, Brian Cushing, and Jonathan Joseph rounding out the defense for the Texans. Houston was the number one defense in the NFL in 2016, led largely by the superior athleticism at the time out of J.J. Watt. 3rd and 10. Marino guns it over the middle to Duper. A gain of 24, first down Miami.
23-yard gain on the play.
Marino, coupled with the Marks brothers, were a dynamic offense, number one in football in 1984 and 1994. Williams on the gut run. First down, Miami. Ricky Williams, the Pro Bowl running back from Texas, had the greatest rushing season in Dolphins history in 2002, over 1,800 yards that season. Marino fires to the outside, and Warfield had it in his hands again.
And an incompletion. Number 42, the intended target on the play.
Dan Marino certainly has made amends after the early interception with an outstanding drive. He retired as the NFL's all-time leader in passing yards and passing touchdowns for his career. Check down to Warfield. He's 2 for 6 to begin the game today. Cushing with the tackle. Miami was 36% on 3rd down last week. They'll need the 30 to keep this promising drive alive. Marino on a quick drop, flips it to his right. Jackson breaks a tackle, and the tight end gains about 5.
Let's go, fellas.
Miami's kicker Olindo Mare had the 4th highest field goal percentage in franchise history in 2001, making over 90% of his tries. Pro Bowler from Syracuse was with the team from 1997 to 2006. Good on the long try. He is 3 for 3 this year, and the Dolphins are on the board. 2:43 left in an exhilarating first quarter between 0-1 Houston and 1-0 Miami. The Dolphins defeated division rival New England here last week. Houston lost 20-13 to Indianapolis. Good return from Fuller, and with Houston up 4, they'll begin their next drive at their own 22. Watson and company went 3 and out on their first possession. Gut run to Foster, who plunges to the 24. Jason Taylor, the Hall of Fame linebacker, makes the stop.
Gain of 2 on the play.
This is a mismatch on paper today between Houston and Miami, but the Texans have led throughout in South Florida. Watson fires over the middle to Foster, spilled at the 31-yard line for the gain of 7.
Pass completion. 7-yard gain on the play.
3rd down and a yard to go. Pitch to Foster, spins away from Scott, and he will not get there. Tough break as Houston yet again goes 3 and out. And Shane Leckler, top 3 in NFL history in punt yards and punt average, drives it downfield, end over end, into the hands of Scott at the 20. Dragged down to the 30, a 10-yard return for the perennial Pro Bowler out of Georgia. Well, just how much of a mismatch is this game today? Dolphins have 27 All-Pros on their roster. Houston with 6. Marino to Hill, over the middle to midfield. And there may be no better mismatch than that guy, Tyreek Hill, 6th on the all-time yard per game list in NFL history among receivers. We've got a man down after the 5-yard loss on that play. Houston defensive end Jadeveon Clowney shaken up on the play. Certainly Houston crosses fingers he can return. Slant to Warfield over the middle for 10. A 3rd down coming up when we return to South Florida. We've played a quarter. Houston by 4. Week 2 out of Sun Life Stadium, Nick Rice in hand in South Florida, where the all-time Texans have the early lead at Miami. 3rd and a long 4. Blitz is coming. Marino's hit as he throws. There's Duper. First down. Of all the great receivers in Dolphins history, Mark Duper has more yards than all of them. Over 8,000 in Miami. Marino lobs it into the end zone. Maybe a little too far or not. Warfield gets under it and is in for the touchdown. Murray. The kick is good, and the Dolphins score again on a beautiful pass from Dan Marino. Warfield, 3 catches, 51 yards, and the touchdown. What a performance in bounce-back fashion from Marino after the early interception. That is his 3rd touchdown pass this year. Grimes with the tackle of Fuller. And with that, Houston begins their next drive after consecutive 3-and-outs to begin the game. Marvelous defense by Miami. 4-man rush. Watson tucks it again and can't get past A.J. Duhe. The 1977 Defensive Rookie of the Year, A.J. Duhe, with the tackle at the 18. Not too often Watson is chased down from behind like Duhe did there. Blitz is coming. Watson throws, and it's nearly intercepted. Daniels, the intended target. 6:35 left in a lopsided first half. Daniel Manning's pick 6, the first score of the game. But Miami has started to find their footing against all-time Houston. Watson unloads to Walter, and they go 3-and-out again. 3 in a row to begin the game for Houston. The offense with 282 yards last week to rank 16th in the league. Not nearly the same production today. Leckler drives it downfield for Houston. Into the hands of Scott at the 32. They won't get very far. An outstanding special team stop by number 25, Kareem Jackson. 9-year corner for Houston out of the University of Alabama. Miami on the heels of back-to-back scoring drives. Marino taken down by Ryans. What a play by the linebacker. The current Houston head coach, after a lengthy career with the Texans at middle linebacker, Ryans, the 2006 Defensive Rookie of the Year. Marino on the outcut, incomplete.
Number 59, the defender on the play. 3rd down.
D'Amico Ryans with 13 tackles and 1 for loss last week. An outstanding play to push him back into a 3rd and 14. Marino's looking deep. It's incomplete as the offense goes 3-and-out. Miami's Brandon Fields has the best yard per punt average in franchise history, 46.8. He's at 40.8 to begin this season. Fields drives it on a line drive into the hands of Fuller at the 21-yard line. Taken down by Grimes at the 29. You couldn't have asked for a worse start today out of the Houston offense. 3-and-out, 3 drives in a row to begin the game. Yet they're only down a field goal. Play fake. Watson. He'll tuck it again, and this time Watson has first down yardage. Anderson with the stop.
Texans first down.
Deshaun Watson led the league in passing in 2020 and was among the league's leader in rushing among quarterbacks that season. Watson guns it to Hopkins, who dropped the football. Incomplete.
Incomplete. Number 10, the intended receiver on the play.
2nd and 10. 4:28 left in the first half. Houston on the heels of their opening first down of the game. Here's Watson again under duress and is sacked for the 3rd time today. That's by Jason Taylor. He is 11th on the all-time sack list and buries Watson. It's 3rd and 15 after Taylor picks up his first sack of the year. Watson over the middle to Hopkins, and he will not get there. Gain of 12. 4th down, and Houston just can't seem to get anything going on offense in this half. The Texans have never been a top 2 offense in the NFL. So they were third in 2008 and 2010, both under the watch of Hall of Fame receiver Andre Johnson. But this isn't necessarily a team that's going to wow you with its talent. Miami with 10 members of the Hall of Fame. Houston has 1. But they are still a team that has some playmakers enough to at least be competitive this year. Duper slips a tackle and is dragged down to the 31-yard line.
There for the reception. Gain of 8.
And Houston's defense has certainly been up to the challenge for most of this first half. Houston is the 12th ranked total defense this season. Inside handoff, Williams with a head of steam is dragged down to the 46, a gain of 15 on the run.
15-yard gain on the play.
Houston lines up in a nickel package on first down. And they'll fake the run. Marino is dumped, and that'll send us to the 2-minute warning. Mario Williams brings him down for a loss of 3 on the play. Williams, 11 years in the NFL, played with Miami along with Houston during his over decade in the league. A third down. Marcus Coleman, a corner out of Texas Tech, which was the part of the first team in 2002, knocks it away. Marino goes deep to Hill. He's gotten to the 15 and is in for the touchdown. Man, this offense with Hill and Warfield outside, they can score in an instant. Imagine if Marino had a guy like Tyreek Hill and Paul Warfield to throw the football to. Those are 2 of the fastest receivers in NFL history, with Mark Duper, Mark Clayton, Brandon Marshall, and Jalen Waddle as receivers as well, the all-time Dolphins offense. Tyreek Hill, 2 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown in today's game. He had 2 catches for 19 yards last week against the Patriots. From the 1, Fuller won't get past the 20 with the tackle from 3-time Pro Bowler Brian Cox. 1:42 to go in the first half. Nick Rice-in-hand from South Florida. Dan Marino has caught fire in this offense. Watson completes to Walter for the first down. Houston, led by head coach Gary Kubiak, is with the team for 8 years. Miami, led by head coach Don Shula, with the team for 26. Watson will run, and he's got another first down for Houston. Bob Baumhauer makes the stop. Watson has really leaned on the run and loses the ball here. Zach Thomas forced it, and Cameron Wake recovers. Brutal mistake from the quarterback. And with 1:05 to go in the half, Miami takes the field again with a 17-7 lead against the upstart all-time Texans. Marino flips it to Clayton, his first catch. First down to the 33. That is some catch by Clayton on the run. 5-time Pro Bowler from Louisville. Draw, Williams inside the 30. Spilled to the 23-yard line, and head coach Don Shula calls another timeout. This is some offense. Miami is. They are going to be a handful for any defense of the all-time roster franchise. Williams with the pressure that time.
Results in an incompletion. Number 42, the intended target on the play.
Hall of Famer Paul Warfield, retired with the most yards per game in Miami history. Tyreek Hill's going to take his spot in that regard. Jackson over the middle, drill to the 14.
With the reception, 9-yard gain on the play.
Third down. Marino on a 7-step drop, lobs it to the corner. He's got a man out there, but it's incomplete to Duper.
Incomplete pass. Number 85, the intended receiver. 4th down.
A chance to put up 20 in just the first half for Miami. 31-yarder out of Amare, and the kick is good. An outstanding first half for the all-time Dolphins. Houston should be competitive this year, but they have really been underwhelming in today's game. against one of the great blue blood franchises in the National Football League in Miami. Return to the 24, Jeremiah Bell with the tackle. Houston's quarterback room, Deshaun Watson, C.J. Stroud, and Matt Schaub, all three Pro Bowl quarterbacks and difference makers for Houston. An 8-yard run. Deshaun Watson, the starter, has had a hard time establishing scoring drives. They've done a good job moving the chains on this end of the 50, at least in the quarter. Not the case on the other end. Watson again tucks it. His last run ended in the fumble. This time, Anderson brings him down at the 48, and Watson hangs on. One of the great scrambling quarterbacks of his era. He's with Houston from 2017 to 2020 before a dramatic end to his Houston career. He was picked up later on in a fully guaranteed contract by the Browns. 14 seconds left in the first half. Watson and the offense looking for points. Instead, they'll go backwards.
Number 84 makes the sack. Loss of 8 on the play.
First 2 sacks of the season from Bill Stanfield in the first half. Watson, for the 6th time today, is taken down for a sack. Halftime from Miami, and the Dolphins lead 20-7. Second half coming up next. At the half, Miami leads Houston 20-7. As mentioned, a mismatch on paper. The last series featured Houston and Tennessee Houston as the Oilers were coupled with the Texans. Not the case this go-around. Return to the 20 from Mercury Morris. The Dolphins, not only an embarrassment of riches at receiver, but Miami with Ricky Williams, Mercury Morris, Ronnie Brown, and Reggie Bush, coupled with Larry Zonka at fullback, are a very good running game on paper. Williams gains 3 with Whitney Merciless on the stop.
Gain of 3.
The all-time Dolphins, 6th in the NFL in win percentage as a franchise, with the 2 Super Bowls led by Shula. Warfield on the slant, 11 yards and a first down. That is an incredible number from Marino. 210 yards and 2 touchdowns in just the first half. Incredible numbers from the Hall of Fame quarterback, Dan Marino. 1984 NFL MVP with arguably the greatest passing season in NFL history. The 48 passing touchdowns, by far and away the record at the time in what was less of a pass-happy era of the 1980s, with Marino's best receivers being the Marx brothers that year. Duper on the check down, picks up 5.
5-yard gain on the play.
I mean, it was an incredible run Dan Marino had. Ironically, though, Marino, despite all the talent, was one of the most underwhelming playoff quarterbacks we've ever seen. Marino throws one into the ground. He made the Super Bowl in '84, but overall, Marino was 8-10 in the playoffs after winning 147 regular season games. He just couldn't seem to put it all together. 3rd and 5. Marino with time gets rid of it to Duper for a short gain. 229 yards today out of Marino. Fields belts one towards the end zone. And that is in for a touchdown. Well, just offensively, Miami should be one of the best teams in the league if they can put up points like this, especially against a team in Houston that is scrappy and tough defensively with a couple of great players on it. Now, they aren't necessarily deep by all-time standards as Foster's run out. Watson just 36 yards for the game. Leaders of this defense for Houston include guys like Jadeveon Clowney, J.J. Watt, Mario Williams. We saw DeMeco Ryans make a big play, and Jonathan Joseph in the secondary. Meanwhile, Houston's offense, a couple of good playmakers on it. Watson just can't seem to buy any time. Baumhauer with the sack. Man, Houston's offensive line has just been dominated. They have only one player that made a first-team All-Pro in their 22-year history, 23-year history. Walter on the sideline. He's in front of the chains, and he does make the catch in bounds. Third grab of the game for the wide receiver out of Eastern Michigan, Kevin Walter. First down, and they'll toss it. Foster to the 30, the 40, and Foster's taken down on a 13-yard scramble. Houston had 3 first downs in the first half, 2 first downs on their opening drive of the second half. Gut run to Foster. Taken down by Buonacani on a gain of 4. Arian Foster, 4-time Pro Bowler out of Tennessee, with the most rushing yards and the most rushing touchdowns in a season in Houston history. That was in 2010, 1,616 yards and 16 touchdowns that year. An outstanding career for the former undrafted free agent out of the Volunteers of Tennessee. Foster with another first down to the 32.
That play is good for a first down.
Outstanding numbers today from Arian Foster. It almost makes you wonder why they haven't featured him more in this offense. Deep drop from Watson. Flips it to the left. And you're certainly not going to win many games going this far without an Andre Johnson reception.
Gain of 7.
A good idea to get him involved in the offense. A gain of 7 on his first reception of the game. 3 grabs for 93 yards and a touchdown last week. 4-man rush with a twist. Watson flips it to Walter. That is the 4th first down on this drive. An incredible drive in response to the Miami punt to begin the half. Houston has a chance to make it a 1-score game. Foster is out. Dominic Williams in the backfield, but he's in the block. Watson to Hopkins. Over the middle for 5.
Number 10 with the catch. Gain of 5.
DeAndre Hopkins, acquired by Houston in 2013. He lasted 7 seasons with the team and twice finished top 4 for the Offensive Player of the Year award. Incredible receiver, led the league in touchdowns in 2017. Watson on second down. He'll tuck it again. Already sacked 8 times today, and he slides to close the third. Fourth quarter coming up next. Miami 20, Houston 7. Welcome back to South Florida. Nick Rice in hand. Miami has been in control since the opening pick 6 from Danielle Manning. Houston a chance to score a critical touchdown. Watson with time stands in, dumps it off to Daniels, and he is leaning, fighting. He didn't get there. 69 yards for the game for Deshaun Watson. They needed another 1 to move the chains from Owen Daniels. Houston's Kamie Fairbairn in for the field goal. Stroud the hold, and the kick is good. Fairbairn, 8th on the all-time field goal percentage list in NFL history. He was picked up in 2017 as an undrafted free agent and turned into a superstar kicker for the Texans. Towering kick to Scott from 3 yards deep. He'll bring it out to the 10. It is taken down to the 21-yard line. The tackle from Bernardrick McKinney of the Texans. Unlike Miami, who is 6th in win percentage in the National Football League as a franchise, Houston is 29th in the league. Williams inside of the 20. He's got another first down to the 37-yard line. Ricky Williams is running wild against this Houston defense. The Dolphins could all but put it away with a touchdown on this possession. Williams gets by Mario Williams and gains another 9.
Number 34 gets the call. Gain of 10 on the...
A healthy 8 yards a carry for Ricky Williams in today's game. And with 6:10 left in the fourth quarter, Williams having his best game of the year. Nearly picked off on the right side by Cushing.
Number 13 throws incomplete.
Brian Cushing 2009 Defensive Rookie of the Year. I remember him most for crashing his head into his own helmet and gushing blood in his forehead. He was one of the toughest linebackers in the league. Ricky Williams all the way. Touchdown, Miami. First touchdown of the season from Ricky Williams, and the Dolphins have put this one away. Alindo Mare for the extra point, and the kick is good. This Miami offense is incredible. Ricky Williams, 9 carries for 119 yards and a touchdown. Incredible start to the season for Williams. And now Houston basically playing for 5 points unless they can put together a miracle here. Fuller spilled to the 19. 5:53 left in the game. You know, Houston came back in the fourth quarter against Indy, but could not stop the run. Lenny Moore and the Colts ran out the clock to win the game. Watson standing in. He'll tuck it again. Watson has been hit and harassed throughout the entire game. 66 yards rushing for the quarterback. And that gives Watson nearly 100 yards this season, sacked for the 9th time. Taylor with his second. And this is a brutal performance by the Houston offensive line. Laramie Tunsil, Dwayne Brown, Eric Winston, Chris Myers getting pushed around in today's game. Andre Johnson, a gain of 11.
With the reception, first down.
Just 80 yards passing today on 84.6% completions. He's been efficient throwing the ball and has good numbers running it. It's in fact incredible how well he's played considering the poor pass protection. Incomplete. Sam Madison on the pass deflection. The Dolphins secondary is one of the best in the all-time rosters franchise.
False start, offense. Repeat, second down.
Wade Smith, the Pro Bowler from Memphis, the guilty party. Jake Scott, Brent Grimes, Rashad Jones, Xavier Howard, Patrick Surtain Sr., Sam Madison, and Dick Anderson. That secondary, incredible. Outcut to Johnson, a gain of 5.
With the pass completion. 5-yard gain on the play.
4:28 left. Deshaun Watson has just been battered and bruised all game today, sacked 9 times. 4-man rush, Watson under pressure again, and is taken down for a sack, and Watson is hurt. Man, he has just been completely beaten around like a rag doll today. It's incredible he lasted this long. Taken down again by Doug Betters of the Dolphins, and Watson is hurt. Houston is holding its collective breath that Watson can return at some point in today's game. As Leckler drills it to Scott at the 25, and taken down by Glenn at the 33. 4:14 left in the game. It's not as though Houston was in a good position to win anyways today, but you're certainly moving forward, hope that he can return to the offense. We already saw Jadeveon Clowney shaken up earlier in the game. Joseph wraps up Hill and a gain of 8.
Number 10. Gain of 8 on the play.
Nick Rice-Hand join us this weekend for complete Week 2 highlights along with the injury report and the Game of the Week cinematic of the all-time rosters franchise as we're underway to determine the greatest franchise of all time. Hill, another catch, 4 on the day. This is some athlete, Tyreek Hill, picked up by Kansas City late in the draft out of West Alabama, and then was acquired by way of trade by Miami in 2022 and turned into a superstar. Williams on the stretch run. Bill to the 45 by Ryans.
34 on the run. Gain of 1.
Miami trying to bleed the clock with a little over 2 minutes left in the game. The Dolphins are going to improve to 2-0. They'll hit the road for the first time this season at the Browns in Week 3. Houston back on the road to visit the all-time Saints in New Orleans next Sunday. Final play before the 2-minute warning, and it's Williams taken down by Mario Williams of the 43.
With the carry on the play. Gain of 2 on the play.
Miami, which in 4 different seasons in the Super Bowl era have been the #1 offense in football. They may be the #1 offense in the all-time rosters franchise this year. Morris for a couple.
Gain of 2.
And with that, Miami is going to most likely bring out the punt team. Indeed, that is the case from Brandon Fields. And Fields will drive this one into the end zone for a touchback. We saw Deshaun Watson go down with injury to close the last drive, sacked 10 times on the day. And what do you know? The 2023 Offensive Rookie of the Year, C.J. Stroud, is the new quarterback for Houston. His first throw of the season. And that pass is incomplete, intended for Cooks. Both Cooks and C.J. Stroud were the heroes of the preseason for Houston, and Stroud earned his way to the #2 spot on the Houston roster, beating out Matt Shaw. Daniels over the middle for the gain of 14.
Texans first down.
The preseason was meant to determine where guys would be on the depth chart. Great performances rewarded by moving up the depth chart as Stroud throws incomplete, and the losers not only dropped in the depth chart but got cut more often than not. As 60 players made it to the preseason, they trimmed the rosters to 53. And here's the greatest Texans of all time, Stroud, the #2 quarterback. Hit as he throws, deep to Johnson. He's got it for the gain of 20. C.J. Stroud with a beautiful throw. He had the second greatest yard per game rookie season in NFL history behind the LA Chargers' Justin Herbert of a few years prior. Stroud on first down with under a minute left in the game. Throws to Cooks, and that pass is incomplete. Brandon Cooks, the NFL journeyman out of Oregon State, was the #1 receiver in the preseason by way of yardage. An incredible preseason campaign for Cooks and Stroud. Blitz, and Stroud is dumped. And now Houston's getting a taste of, or C.J. Stroud is just how bad the offensive line has played all game today. 5-man rush, Stroud hit as he throws. There's Walter for the gain of 5. Timeout, Houston. About a minute left in the fourth quarter. Stroud on 4th and 12, deep to Andre Johnson, and he is gone. Touchdown, Houston. C.J. Stroud in for the injured Deshaun Watson, who needs the starter when the backup played just as good all the way for the touchdown. We've got ourselves a potential quarterback controversy going into the next game if Deshaun Watson can return. The word is early from the sideline is that he may be okay, but it appears to not necessarily be of the season-ending variety. 5 catches, 91 yards, and a touchdown. Tune in Monday for the injury report to see the status of Deshaun Watson. Who knows? C.J. Stroud could be the quarterback moving forward. Scott returns from the 1. He's buried to the 22. 25 seconds left in the game, and there's a wrinkle moving forward with the quarterback situation for Houston. No quarterback dilemma out of Miami. Dan Marino. A phenomenal performance for the Dolphin quarterback. Another 2 touchdown passes today, one to Paul Warfield and the other to Tyreek Hill. Miami cruises to the win. Danielle Manning had the early interception, but the Dolphins crushed the Texans 27-17. The complete Week 2 docket coming up this Sunday. For the rest of our crew, I'm Nick Rice. This is the all-time rosters franchise with Charger 95.